keyboard loud. Although I
Click
can't
it
see
back.
anything.
Going on track. Typing. Need more headsets.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Fall of Illidion. Last time we left our heroes, they had battled their way through the depths of the depths beneath Darrendur, fought their way through Vemagor's bandit mercenaries to They had fought their way through his bandit mercenaries all the way until the giant training area in which him and his closest henchmen were located. They battled against a large, grotesque mage along with several warriors, archers, and other assorted enemies until Vemagor appeared. Locked in battle, eventually, as he began to take damage, he summoned a large lava golem from the depths beneath their stronghold. The lava golem strode out into the battlefield, throwing out blasts of flame, eventually at one point even destroying Gerard's shield, his last heirloom from Gregor Sandoon, his mentor, who has since fallen into the pits of the Seven Hells. Eventually, as the group battled along, they managed to slay Vemagor with Alistair landing the final blow. As Vemagor lay there dying, Togric ran over to him as he begged him to take his body back to his brother and to tell him for one last time that he loved him. Our heroes return to the surface to a hero's welcome. Greeted by Torvin Quickstrike at the gates with an honor guard of dwarves. He was disheartened to see his brother's passing, but knew it was necessary. As Togric heard the news that his father was alive, he sped off through to the Mithril Ward to the Hall of Clan Bladesong to be at his side, while Alistair, Gerard, and Kilroy brought the body of Vemagor through the streets as the people cheered, as the one who had attempted to assassinate their king was slain. As we followed Togric into the Hall of Clan Bladesong, he burst into his father's room to see him awake, sitting there next to his brother Edric. After a emotional moment together in which Torim, the king, held his son close and they forgave each other for all that had gone between them over the last decade, promising to tell each other of the tales of their adventures during the time that had passed between them. They proceeded to go to the bowels of the Hall of Clan Bladesong to a large feast that was being held in the companion's honor. And that's where we rejoin our heroes. So we're going to start off with Alistair and Gerard and Kilroy as you guys approach the gates to Clan Bladesong's hall. Vemagor's body hoisted up between you and a large crowd chanting all of your names. Gerard! Gerard! Kilroy! Alistair! Togric! And above them all you hear, Bladesong! Bladesong! Bladesong!
Well, I don't know why they're cheering that name. I did all the work. But it's fine. I'll let it go.
As I stop glaring daggers, just realize that he may be getting some emotional maturity, and I'm very proud of him. As I'll reach for my cup of ale and kind of toast everyone while we're here.
Anywho, where do we put the dead body?
As you guys are walking up the steps, Togric, his father, and his brother Edric walking down the steps, cups of ale in their hand. Quickly, guards come forward to take the body from you, taking it off to the funeral rites of the Stoneborn to be prepared. Whether or not he was an evil man or did evil things, he was a Stoneborn, and they'll commit him to the stone as such as they come forward to take the body from you. As King Torum Hammerfist, still leaning very heavily on his sons as he comes down, holds out his hand to welcome the crowd. It's nice to see so many of you coming together to celebrate these heroes. Ha! As a roar erupts from the crowd. And I know part of it is to see that I am well. It's nice to see so many friends here. A few more days and I'll be right back, ready to lead you onward. Nothing can hold down the Stoneborn. As the crowd just cheers. But before all of that, a feast. Everyone is welcome inside our halls. Bring out the ale. As he kind of stumbles a bit, but Togric, you kind of lean into him as you guys turn around and enter the halls of the Bladesong clan. As you enter the hall, tables are quickly being put together. Since there hasn't been much notice of your arrival, as you hear you smell food coming out of the kitchens as platters of large animals, roasted boar, different meats, hearty breads are put out as the tables quickly become filled with various foodstuffs. You guys are ushered to the head table, sitting all 5 of you lined up at the right side of the king as the hall quickly fills with dwarfs from the city.
You just tried to die. You didn't just try to die, but you almost died. You're just going to let everybody in, but
It's a
Me
shine
and the
of
bed
his
go to town on
strength.
food. We are just
Time
eating
strike,
everything
is
in
that what-
sight.
Besides, he was
Okay.
almost murdered completely by himself, not in a crowd of people, alright? It's a whole different experience.
Torum will kind of lean over, hearing your conversation you're having amongst yourselves. I understand your concerns, but it's important in these times that we project strength.
I'm going to let you know right now. I'm not concerned. I was just pointing it out. Okay.
Father, I don't think you've officially met this pain in my ass. His
Yes.
name
Introduce me to your friends.
his name is Alistair Ray. He was an adoptive son of Othello.
Otello, the mighty warrior. Well, any son of Otello is always welcome within these halls. How goes your father?
As I wince, kind of audibly.
Dead. We don't talk about it.
Dead. How did he fall? I know he was a bit older, but an experienced what could take out an experienced warrior like Otello?
Baylor at the fall of Illidion.
He just kind of shakes his head. He's like, that'll do it. But there are worse ways to go and worse foes to fall to.
Indeed. And this is Gerard St. Ives. He was Gregor's apprentice, actually.
Ah,
Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well, Gerard. I didn't know Commander Gregor all that well, but we all mourn his loss.
And
I
to
do as
think, if he would have taken the title, he would have been the leader of the Oathsworn by now. And then
I try not to get involved too much in the goings on of the humans. We've got our own to worry about.
And then we have Kilroy Thumperdiddle here, a relic connoisseur of sorts, praiser, researcher, professor emeritus of the Emberfall Academy.
Ah, So you keep your nose down in the books, eh, Kilroy?
Most of the time, right now, it's in all this food. Chomp, chomp, chomp.
As he kind of looks behind you at the bear that's just contentedly sitting beside you, as it's been given a very large plate. And is that yours?
Yep. She's been with me for a while now.
Hmm. I see. Just like, okay, that's weird, but all right.
Yeah, it gets weirder. It has wings and sometimes thumbs. So.
You see the wings on my back?
Mhm.
It's hers. I'm borrowing it.
As like,
Mages.
yeah,
There's
mages.
mages.
Yeah.
Us, us dwarves prefer our rune work or the smithy, but to each their own.
Oh, I've seen some of your work. Yeah, I know. Down in the old ruin.
Oh, you
At the
guys made it
Blesnak.
to one of the ruined strongholds below.
One or two at
Yeah,
this point.
Oh,
That's
you
right,
found a
Father.
lost hold.
here's some of the sketchings that I took of centurions.
Hold on a
As he
moment,
grabs your
Father.
paper. Yep.
As I go over to an open window and I whistle deep and slow for the warbird.
Okay. As everyone stands there, you open a large window and whistle. As flying in through the window, you guys have all seen this before. The warbird that you recovered from the lost hold to the north flies in. Long, 8 foot long wingspan made of bronze and lined with gold. This mechanical bird just flies, gliding along the top of the great hall of the clan as everyone stops and you hear gasps and your father just kind of clutches the table and he goes, "You found one." It's like you kind of see like almost a small tear run down his
There are
cheek.
many
We
more.
saw more than one.
Father, this is the only warbird we have with us, but the fallen kingdom of the Blesnak, there are a few flying about still.
Well, we must, as you just notice, where he's tried to put on a good front, but he's seemed very weak. He's still recovering from the poison. He
Bishop.
just seems immediately filled with energy. He goes, "Well, we must organize an expedition at once."
Yeah, careful about the Kraken.
That
Ooh,
said, you would need some with the blood, of course. I set the engineers to begin repairs. Um, of course, as they
they're
repair the
also
rest, it'll speed up, but it's going to take a few years before that place is serviceable.
they're also blocking off the only other entrance because people are trying to get in.
There are some looking to salvage the ruins. I had the constructs blockade the entrances so that they would not go to their default, which is killing anyone in sight.
Understood. As he turns to your brother, Edric, you'll organize an expedition at once. Get directions from your brother. One of our family is going to need to be there to activate and control the creatures if the tales hold true. I will need you there in order to organize this, and I want no less than 400 dwarves with you. We'll go
Fa-
in strength.
Father, I recommend at least half of them be from Clan Wyvern Skull. We just got over clan tension. We're not trying to create any more.
We'll make sure to pull some from each clan to make it a joint effort.
All right. He does have the amulet, as best I can tell from the previous High King, the Wyvern Skullhead.
Oh, so it was their hold that was lost.
Yes.
Oh, well, then I'll need to meet with Baranos at once. Thank you,
There's also
Chagrick, for bringing, all of you, for bringing this to me. This could lead to, I don't even know, the discoveries beyond me, our heritage, knowledge that's been lost. Thank you.
there is a door down there that is locked by a password we couldn't figure out.
Okay. Do you know the purpose of the door?
As I'll
Vault.
whisper in his ear, a few million ingots of gold.
So he kind of for a moment, just stays silent, as he then turns to Edric. You leave the day after tomorrow.
The constructs recognize the Blade Song bloodline. Um, I can't. They still follow a fundamental logic we can't breach or understand. If I could speak with Edric after dinner, might have a way to get that progress started.
Of course, brother, as he turns to you, and I'm any information you could provide, things that you saw, anything would be helpful.
Of course. In the meantime, though, I see at least 3 legs of mutton with my name on it, so if you'll excuse me.
As you come together, as the first course is taken away, as large trays of mutton lined with mashed potatoes and a hearty fare in front of you, as your cups are kept filled with ale throughout the night, thick, hearty brew.
I have a question for you, sir.
Go ahead, Master Gnome.
Is there any way you could find out how to make sturdier straps into armor for that shell on my bear?
You're
It's been a
asking
long
my
time
father.
It's been a long time since I picked up a hammer in the forge. That being said, we could definitely have our master blacksmith take a look at it.
Much appreciated.
You're giving him
He just
Imgrid?
kind of chuckles.
Imgrid's the crotchetiest dwarf I've ever met in my life.
Yes, as he kind of leans in. But after 400 years, he's the best at his craft.
He's just lucky I left. Otherwise, I'd have his job by now.
As he just kind of laughs. Whatever you say, young one.
Father, while we're on the topic, I made something for you. As I pull out that basilisk, I can't remember what it was, the worm's tooth from the swamp that I had carved over a couple weeks.
Yes, I remember.
That I had carved with my journey from splitting, the heritage
Mhm.
of the Blade Song, and then the journey I've taken up to this point.
Okay.
And I take it out for him. Something I thought I might have to have you buried with, but
It'll take more than an assassin with a bit of a poison blade to take me down, boy. But thank you, nonetheless, as he kind of looks down at it. Looks up at you. It's nice to have you here.
if only everybody felt that way. As I kind of bump shoulders against my brother.
You're a bit annoying, brother, but you're all right.
As I kind of look at, while I'm stretching, pretending to be tired, I kind of look over my dad's condition here, and take a look and see if he's really putting on a front, if he needs to get back to sleep, basically.
All right, so you may roll me a medicine check.
All right. Ah, yes, a skill I'm very good at. Yes. All right. Medicine, you said?
Yes, medicine.
Okay. You're the boss. 19, actually.
All right. As you look over him, as you guys have been sitting here at this point, you've worked your way through 4 courses. As those of you that have been eating all of it are beginning to feel very full and probably a little tipsy. As the hall is filled with drink, you can tell that as you look at your father, there's definitely a glimmer and a light to his eye. He's excited and thrilled to be here, especially with the news that you brought him. But he does look a bit weary.
Now, if your old heart can take it, I do have one more thing I'd like to show you, but perhaps we should excuse ourselves.
Of course. Edric, can you take over the feast for a few moments while I go and speak with your brother? As Edric just kind of nods knowingly and sits over in his father's spot.
Togric, before you leave, I have something to give your father as I pull out the jug of healing water and I pour him a cup. And I hand it to your father.
What is this?
It's
As I kind of cringe away, just
It's
drink it,
legend
Dad.
to be told it could bring you back from the brink of death.
Do I... Thank you. I appreciate it.
Very welcome.
As I again, like always, when he pulls out this holy water, I kind of cringe away a little bit.
As he walks off with you, the water's still in his cup. He just kind of looks around. Magic water?
Straight from Illidion itself. You should actually drink it, Dad.
Mages. As he throws it back, downing the entire glass. As you see his cheeks go a bit rosier, and he has a bit more pep in his step as you guys make your way down from the raised dais on which you had overlooked the feast off to the side. Well, the rest of you guys are sitting here at the head table, looking about the feast. You guys are brought multitudes of dishes: lamb, roasted boar, steak, anything that you could possibly imagine. And after some time, as the courses stop coming, they are followed up by wonderful desserts, pastries, donuts, pie. Anything that you could possibly imagine comes through.
So,
I eat
what you guys say
all
about
that
the
I can.
dwarves?
Is
And
Gerard
cook.
drinking?
I've touched nothing but the ale.
Fair enough.
Mm.
Alistair, what did you say?
I literally said that. No matter what you guys say about dwarves, they can cook up good food.
As Edric kind of leans in, so you like the fare then, Alistair?
Fair. The food.
That's never mind. I assume, being raised by a dwarf, you would be used to such a hearty meal.
I mean, like, he didn't really cook. We had our own maid, and then, like, we were always on the road working.
Fair enough.
Whenever he did cook, it was over a fire. Not the greatest.
Mm.
Nothing like
Understandable.
what's her face Eileen used to make.
Old what's her face. um. All right. As you guys look out, are you guys just kind of sitting here enjoying the ambiance, eating your food, or do you guys want to go out and try to mingle or find anyone in particular? What are you guys doing?
No, I'm getting drunk.
Obviously,
Gerard, this is the first time I've seen you drink.
Drink.
Yeah,
I
I just
understand you lost your shield.
continue to look into my ale and not say a word. I haven't said anything but greeted the king. That's all I said.
Okay. And so he turns to you and what did you say, Kilroy?
Uh, I see you lost your shield, and you still kind of have what's left of it. Would you like to talk about it?
No, I really wouldn't.
hey, Kilroy, you better quit harassing the man about his poor shield.
All right.
I mean, I know that we just won, and it's supposed to be a huge victory, but I feel nothing but loss.
I understand.
Do you understand, though, Kilroy? Even after
As I kick back the rest of that ale and wait for a new one.
I lost my wife.
After winning so much and still losing.
Yes.
When you say that, Edric will kind of lean over. I'm sorry to hear about that, Kilroy. My mother, I lost my mother a few years back, so I understand the loss. How did she pass?
It was a raid on Glitterhome. It was about 20 years ago. The Shadow raided while I was gone, and I couldn't protect her.
That's horrible.
She was infected, and I went to go find something to heal her, and I couldn't find anything. And that's when I ran across Belly here, and I pat Bella on the head.
She just kind of nestles in, this large bear, almost like a cat, just nestling underneath your hand.
And when I came back from trying to find something to cure her, she had already passed. And then my son grew up and he decided he was going to leave home and avenge his mother.
Well, if ever there was something to drive you, he says.
That's why I study the shadow as hard as I can.
So then you're an expert on the shadow.
As far as I can tell, I know more than most.
Well, that I think will become more and more valuable over the next few months with everything going on.
I'd be happy to help any way I can.
At this point, a cloaked figure, tall, wearing tall silver gilded armor with a long blue cloak, walks up past the dais. A human, dark of skin, very short, cropped hair, clean shaven. A man with piercing hazel eyes walks forward. Gerard, he looks a bit familiar, but maybe someone you had seen a long time ago, as you see the sigil of the Oathsworn emblazoned on his chest as he walks up and bows a bit to Edric, who's sitting in the king's chair, before walking up to you. Is it true that you're Gerard St. Ives?
Yes.
Ah, well, you might not remember me, but I am John Martell. I served a bit with your father. I mean, not with your father. I served a bit with Gregor during the calamity. I don't know if you remember me, but I was around when you first enlisted.
Unfortunately, I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, I just wanted to come by and say hello and tell you that we all mourn the loss of our great leader with you.
Why do I
Yeah.
hear boss music?
I kind of want to roll insight,
Go ahead. You may
see if
roll
he's
insight.
being genuine. Uh, 18.
He does seem to be being genuine. He looks a bit, saddened, excited to see Gerard, but he does look to be genuine.
I mean, as
Okay.
dickish as it is, my gaze doesn't even meet his.
Okay.
He's I apologize for how he's being at the moment. He lost his shield and it was something Gregor had passed down to him.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. If you need anything while you're here, Gerard, I'm here. I'm stationed here for the time being. As he'll just bow and take his leave. Coming back over to you, Togric, as you have now left the large chamber and are walking down the exterior hallway with your father, looking about at the magnificent stonework of your people.
I know it's been a long time, but the place feels bigger than it did.
Hmm.
Looks like that water did you wonders. Magic or not.
I guess every once in a while the mages get something right.
Yeah, every once in a while. I wanted to show you a couple of things that I picked up in that kingdom there.
Okay, you have my attention. As he's still, as he walked out, he grabbed his kind of cane, just kind of a makeshift metal rod that he's been using to walk when not in the sight of everyone else. As he hobbles alongside you.
It's best I can tell, a construction manual for the constructs. And as I pull out the true steel blacksmithing hammer, a hammer accompanying it.
Oh, wow. And this is true steel.
That's correct. There were a few bits around the armory also made of true steel. As I gesture to the war pick at my side.
Do you think there's more?
On the upper levels, that's unlikely. We had one of the units give us a tour of the armory. Hardly
Mhm.
anything left. And it seems like there are some active units below in the destroyed levels. But
Mhm.
there may also be opposition. The things were pretty vague about that.
Mm. Well, I mean, what do you mean opposition? Are some of the devils that overran the place, do they still linger below, or is something new and moved in?
The defenders of the kingdom seem to believe so. Um, they're currently tasked with keeping up the barricades and setting out to repair the other engineers to help facilitate the repairs. I don't think I'm minded for this kind of thing, as I hand him the construct manual.
Ah,
I need you to understand how dangerous they were. Even their cores are souls of dead dwarves,
what?
probably voluntarily from what I understand, but their actual cores are running on the souls of deceased dwarves.
That must be how they were created. The secret was lost when the kingdom fell. Um, how would you do such a thing?
Mages. I don't know of
Dwarfen
any runes
mages?
that can do it.
We haven't had a true mage here since your grandmother died.
Ildina.
Yes,
That said, I don't know of any rune magics that can facilitate that.
that's true.
The closest thing would be maybe the witches I've dealt with in my job.
Hmm. Well, we'll have to do a bit of research. We'll have to do a bit of research. We'll put our best minds on it. See if we can get some of Helmbor's clergy to look at it. They have the most in-depth records of our people, and um, we'll see what we can do. I'll make sure that your brother doesn't leave here to go without a sizable force.
All right. And maybe hold off on mass production, although the facilities there could feasibly get it started in maybe a year or two.
Believe me, we're not rushing into anything, especially if their power source is what you say it is. Um, that's something I'll have to take a long look at.
Right. And one last thing. The constructs kept mentioning a data center or core or something, a logic circuit. I can't recall at this time, but something that ran them essentially is
Mhm.
damaged. They can't access the majority of the information about the kingdom. Just something to note.
But they do have. There are records there of our people of old before the fall.
Maybe on some of the lower levels, there's the cultural shrine there, and a tram station still functional. There's a few collapsed
Mm.
tunnels, but there's a decent layout. Here, I can, as I pull out some parchment and start sketching a rudimentary. It's not to scale or anything, but
Mhm.
of where the sectors were from what I recall.
Thank you. This will be valuable,
And I
as you guys
point
at
the
this point
breaches.
have kind of walked almost all the way around the exterior, heading to the other side of the Great Hall. As he turns to you, so what are your plans?
Go back to work, I suppose, now that things have settled down here.
So you'll be heading back to Emberfall.
Yes. The my order is having a castle constructed on its outskirts. So at least we're moving up, right?
That's true. It's just, it's been nice having you here.
Right. But complicates things.
That it does.
And I made my choice. My brother might need a few more years, but he'll learn.
Well, as he kind of just instantly
Mhm.
dropping that. You know, you're always welcome to come back anytime. Don't be a stranger, Togric.
Right. And if you fell for that assassination just to get me to come home, I might let him kill you next time.
As he kind of clasps your shoulder. Ah, you know better than that. Especially as he kind of opens the door as you guys walk back into the Great Hall, especially to get caught with your pants down.
Hmm. Still the same old man. As I step into the courtyard and smiles for once.
I'm not that old. As he kind of waves as the people cheer as he walks back in and heads up to the long table. The night, you guys slowly whittle the night away with wonderful music, fresh food, and the company of stalwart companions until eventually the people begin to leave the great hall as the night grows late. Um, the music stop and the drink stops flowing as you guys make your way to bed.
All right.
Um, so you guys awake within your given chambers, as it is the 10th of leaf fall. Um, as you guys, the light slowly becomes filled with the lanterns that illuminate your rooms. You guys have each been given a separate room within the Mithril Ward inside of the Bladesong halls. As you guys awaken separately. Gerard, you haven't slept quite well throughout the night, tossing and turning, sleeping for maybe 45 minutes to an hour at a time before waking in a cold sweat. Your sleep very uneasy. As we'll start off with you as you wake up very early.
I get up and I grab my armor and I put it on.
Okay.
I grab my shield and I walk out of the room and leave before waking anyone up.
Okay. As you walk out after the feast last night, the the halls are pretty empty. You walk down, having been housed in the royal family's ward. You pass by Kjolf, the tall barbaric dwarf covered in tattoos that stands outside of King Torum's room. Where are you heading to?
I just hold my shield up and I ask, you know where to get this fixed?
Ah, well, you'll be looking for Imgrin. He normally gets an early start. You might find him if you walk out of the ward. I think his shop is near the entrance. If you tell him you're with the clan, he might give you a discount.
Thank you. Appreciate it. As I walk outside or out the front door.
All right. As you exit the Hall of Clan Bladesong, the rest of you guys awake within your separate rooms. Alistair, having gotten quite drunk last night and enjoying your fame and well-deserved rewards as the man who slayed Vemagor Whitehorn. You wake up with quite the hangover, but it's at this point not something you're unused to. What do you do?
So I rub my eyes here and get up on a softer bed than I've slept on in a long time.
Mhm.
And I get dressed in my clothes, and I kind of look at that golden armor, and I look at my old banded plate, kind of bolted together, and I wait just another moment and put on that golden armor, tuck the pieces of my bolted mail in the bag, and get ready for my morning. Head out and to regroup with everyone.
Okay. Alistair, as you awaken, as I said, your head is pounding through your skull. Not the worst hangover you ever had, but it's not easy. Um, as you wake up, your things, though, kind of strewn across the room where you left them as you stumbled into your room.
You said something about a reward. I didn't even realize we got a reward.
Well, you were promised one by. I meant like your reward, as in like your reward, your adoration that you deserve. But you were also promised a reward by Duke Alexander of Emberfall when you return.
Anywho, I am leaving and I'm going back to that, what's it called? The post office. Because
Okay.
I am owed a vicious axe.
All right, so you head out as well, making your way past Kjolf, who just gives you a grim nod as he looks at you, kind of like recognizing you, whereas before he had just ignored you every time you had went to see the king. He gives you that nod of respect as you walk past. As you head out into the Mithril Ward, Kilroy, you awaken, having once again avoided sleeping on the bed and instead sleep in your room on Bella. As you awaken, surrounded by her fur.
Ah, I love you, Belly. It's my favorite bear.
Dynamic.
Just kind of nuzzles against you.
All right, we got to get up and get that armor fixed for you. We got to find Togric. He'll know where the crotchety old dwarf is.
So he kind of rolls over and like swats you, and like rolls over to go back to sleep.
Oh, come on, don't make me drag you. As I kind of just put both hands around one of her fingers on one paw.
When you say that, she looks just right at you like, really?
Always a 5% chance.
As you go start tugging on her, she's like, ah! She stands up, righting herself with a look of indignation as she gets ready to follow you.
Good girl. Right, let's fix that armor. I go to look for Togric.
As you walk out the door, going to look for Togric, Kjolf quickly points you in his direction. As you go to his room, Bella just overtly just stomping behind you as she trudges along. Togric, you quickly hear a knock on your door.
So I open it, and you're practically blinded by yellow gold.
Oh, it's really bright. I'm not used to seeing you
Yeah,
anything bright.
neither.
Bella just turns around and walks back down the hallway.
Where are you going? We gotta fix your armor.
Oh, you need Imgur?
She just sits like halfway down the hallway, laying against the wall until you're done.
See, it wasn't so bad when it was covered in soot. It just looked normal and fine, and I should have left it how it was.
So, do you know where the dwarf is your dad was talking about? That I
If he
could.
hasn't moved in a few decades, you mean? Yeah, I should. There's a
Is there
forge
any
in the
way?
palace.
Okay, is there any way you could take me there?
If I can remember, sure.
I appreciate it.
Let's grab breakfast on the way, though. As I usher you down the hallway.
I'll buy.
As you guys head down
Are you
towards the
kidding?
kitchens.
Son of a king. Don't buy anything.
Yeah. You guys aren't paying for breakfast within the Hall of the Blade Song. As you head down to the kitchens, quickly each swiping a bit of bacon before you make your way out into the Mithril Ward. Gerard, as you're woke up first and you're kind of trudging through the early morning air, most of the people sleeping off the revels of the night before. You quickly make your way to Imgrin's smithy as you see the smoke getting an early start. It's already pouring out of the chimney above. As you walk up and open the door, you see weapons of exceptional quality lining the walls, forged from true steel, bright steel, um, or calcum, in all different manners of metals, of excellent craftsmanship, armors of a quality that you've only really seen produced out of the master smiths of their crafts. And you even see a very large set of armor, heavily plated, the likes of which you've never seen before, as you look back through the smoke and kind of amazed at all of these crafts. You see a very stout dwarf hammering over the forge, with a long black beard graying at the edges now, entwined in two braids that cross each other into a single one as they come down. His hair pulled back underneath a cap as he's just hammering away in his apron.
And I wait patiently until he's able to speak with me.
As you sit there, you'll just hear him, "Boy," as a very young dwarf, stubble just barely coating his chin, comes out quickly, kind of stumbles a bit for a second, knocking into the counter before you just see Imgrin shake his head as the boy comes out. What can I do for you, sir?
Are you Imgrid?
No, that's as this is my apprentice. As he said, I'm his apprentice, Joseph.
I mean, I may not have the money to make these kind of demands, but I have something that's very sensitive.
Of course, I take the orders as he comes over, and if you would prefer that Imgrin work on it, that's fine too.
And I
As he
drop
comes in, kind of walks over and ushers you to take a seat as he pulls out a book and a quill.
as I drop the stone and steel shield on the countertop.
Oh, what is this monstrosity? As he kind of just looks it over, feeling the rough edges of the stone and the steel that have kind of been melted together by the heat.
Well, the stone doesn't matter. It's really the metal. It was the last metal that was forged with me and Gregor Sandoon.
When you say that, the anvil stops as Imgrin kind of walks over, brushing off himself. How do you know Gregor?
He was my mentor.
Ah,
My
I
friend.
saw him fight once in a tournament. The man was a hellion. Just kind of looks down. You said this was his shield?
It's a shield he helped me make before he disappeared with Illidion.
The fuck did you do to it?
Lava golem.
That'll do it. As he kind of looks it over. The heat has almost melded the stone and the steel together. It's unique, but so what do you want me to do with it?
Whatever you can do with it. This is what I have as I give him all of my money. 20 gold on the counter.
Oh,
Whatever.
that's too much. So you want me to take the steel and reforge a shield? As he kind of sits down. What kind of shield are you looking for?
Tower shield. All I'm really looking for is something with the Oathsworn symbol.
I'll have to supplement it with some additional steel. He kind of looks it over.
I mean, like I said, I wanted this to be quite sensitive, so take this 20 gold and do what you can do with it. Make use of all of this money. This is the only thing that matters to me. And if it's going to be something I carry around with me and it's something that means that much, I want it to be something that's tough as well as beautiful.
As he kind of takes your coins, slides them across, looking over them. Well, so he kind of cuts half as the apprentice looks at him like he's crazy and he hands it back to you. I'll take 10. And don't worry, it will still be of high quality. As he drops them in his purse and he grabs your shield. Come back It'll take me a few days. I'm not going to rush it. Will you be here, or should I send it off to you?
I'll let you know by the end of the day.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
I see he just kind of walks to the back and he sets it back on his workbench before he goes back to crafting the piece of metal that he was working on before. At this point, we're going to go ahead and we'll stick with this place. As Togrick and Kilroy, you guys have been sent here as you guys come walking in as Gerard is standing up to leave.
Oh, hey.
You get up early, Gerard.
Couldn't sleep.
After how much you drank, I thought it knocked you out.
Couldn't
Still a
sleep.
paladin.
Fair enough.
I'd hoped to get a little intoxicated last night, but I don't think it ever came.
There's a bar around the corner. Tell him, oh God, what was the name I used back then? Tell him Tommy sent you, and that you're there for the top shelf.
I feel like I'll be all right. One day of sadness set me back enough. I need to proceed with the day.
All right. We'll probably be leaving either this afternoon or tomorrow morning, at the latest. I know Alistair's got some legal trouble we need to go back to settle.
Well, as you guys go in, then, would you tell Imgrid to go ahead and deliver that for me?
Yeah, can do. The Point Valiant or Emberfall?
Well, we're headed back to Emberfall, right?
Right.
Send it to Emberfall.
I'll let him know.
All right, as you guys walk in, Imgrin is once again working on hammering out this sheet of metal for a piece of armor he's working on as the apprentice kind of turns, "Oh, my lords, what can I do for you?"
All right. Imgrin, old man, as I'm the cheeriest you've seen me, Kilroy.
Ah, I haven't seen your runty short beard in decades.
Short beard, my feathered arse.
I mutter under my breath. It's the opposite of a stick up the ass.
And who's your friend?
This is Kilroy Thumperdiddle. He's a bit late. He just finished with your wife.
As he comes in. Ah, yes, I'm sure. It's fine. What's a thumperdiddle?
Me.
Well, you
My
see,
family.
his small stature belays a surprising present. Thump.
Yes, I'm
As
sure.
I
At
hit
least
the
that's what he'd
countertop.
like people to think.
As I jump up and thump Togrick on the head with my wand.
That's why he's Thumperdiddle.
What brings you here, Togrick?
Well, nothing for me besides, I'm a better smith than you, of course. Something for, as I give him a half grin, something for a custom fit for a bear, I suppose?
For a bear.
Yeah,
As
as I gesture to the bear outside the shop.
I kind of open the door.
Is this Bella just looks thoroughly annoyed, just sitting here outside the shop, just staring at you.
Come on, it's armor time. I'll give you bacon when we get back.
As she comes trapezing in.
I have a favor to ask. You see that big shell on her back? Is there any way you could turn that into armor for her?
Well, I could. It'd require quite a bit of work, but I could make it work.
Here are the
It would
measurements.
be a bit tighter fit. Why don't you leave her here with me for maybe an hour, and I'll have my apprentice take the measurements, and I'll get you a quote. And she just turns to you.
Hey Togrick, can you grab me some bacon?
Way ahead of you, bud. As I pull out the second breakfast that I was saving for myself, and hand it over to you.
I start feeding her.
As you start feeding her, and the apprentice, Josen kind of looks at Imgrin and then looks at him, and he goes, "You heard what I said. Measure the bear." As he kind of turns around and gives us a silent chuckle as the apprentice is like, What?
Get the bear measuring tape in the back, you idiots! As I just like gesture.
Oh yeah, the bear measuring tape! As he just runs to the back. And Imgrin is just fucking laughing.
You need a better apprentice.
Hey, his father paid me a lot of money.
It's not enough. Bear
No.
measuring tape.
As he just kind of walks up, there's no bear measuring tape, you fucking idiot. As you guys go along. We're going to come over to Alistair, who you've been walking through the Mithril Ward down into the Commons as you make your way to the Marcher Express as you wait on your package. As you walk in, the same middle-aged dwarfen woman that was there before kind of walks up, sitting there as you walk up. But there doesn't seem to be many people here. She goes, yes.
Package. Alistair Ray should be here.
Ah, yes, it came in this morning. As she kind of steps up and very slowly, much more slowly than you would like, walks over and opens up this long cabinet and starts rifling through all of these folders until she finally pulls one up. Ah, yes, it's in the back. As she very slowly makes her way, almost painstakingly slow, makes her way around the corner, disappearing for 5, 10, 15 minutes before she kind of finally comes back holding a long wooden box, almost much too heavy for her as she strains under the weight. She'll set it down on the table. This is your package. If you could sign here.
Yep, on it. Signed it.
All right. Let's see. It appears as if the shipper has paid for the fee. You're good to go.
There we go. Boom. And I'm going to grab it, take it out of the box. I'm just going to toss the box to the ground, and I'm leaving.
All right. As you pull out your weapon that you had commissioned by Rouge Redscale, known as the greatest smith in Emberfall, maybe in the Marches, though Imgrin would contest that. You pull it out with it's got a long hilt of a dark ashwood heft of the axe. The ends is capped in silver. As you come up, the point where your axe meets the wood, lined with silver, in kind of this image of a leaping lion that comes off of this jagged axe. Double-bladed on either side of the blade. You can feel the magical power emanating from this weapon.
Yeah, there we go.
Please, you may enter your vicious great axe in your inventory.
On it.
As you walk out with this monstrous weapon, almost as tall as you are, very intricately crafted. What are you doing?
Sorry, I'm trying to do like 2 things at once. Do I remember where the fight pits are at?
So they're in the outer wards. So you would have to leave Darrender proper and head back out to the exterior of the city beyond the wall.
Trying to remember how tough it was for me. To get back in. Yeah, it was pretty tough. I took some semi-illegal. I did some semi-illegal stuff to get in there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I still got a bone to pick with those dwarves.
Well, remember, the one that was picking on you and called you a little pussycat has since been executed.
Yeah, but he had buddies.
He did. The other members of Clan Wyvern Skull.
Let's go back to that town square. That was a good time.
All right. As you are actually already in the Commons, as you walk out into the town square. At this point, the day is getting going, and the square is bustling. It's no longer as militarized as it was during the height of the clan tension, but you do see some guards milling about as the different stalls are getting set up and vendors are beginning to hawk their wares.
Let's go help the community out and see what kind of vendors we got.
All right.
Like, what kind of vendors are we talking?
So as you walk through, you're not in the market ward, but there are quite a few here in the commons. As you hear, fresh meat here, fresh meat straight from the surface. Fresh bread, come over here, fresh bread. Mysterious wares from afar, trade. Come and see my talismans. As you hear another one hawking flowers and all different manner of creatures, all different manner of baubles and trinkets here.
I go dabble in some bread. Kind of hungry, so I will go talk to the bread vendor.
All right, as you walk up, it's this beautiful human woman with long, flowing red hair and piercing green eyes, wearing very plain garb, though, with just a long cotton dress. As you approach, she goes, "A loaf of bread for you, sir. It's made fresh by my husband over in the market district. Would you like some?"
Yeah, I could smell it. How much for a loaf?
Not a problem. Let's do 5 coppers.
All right, 5 coppers it is.
All right, as she hands you this loaf, it's not a massive size loaf, but it's a decent sized loaf, still hot from the oven when the baker had made it this morning. As you take a bite into it, it is very delicious, filled with nuts and various berries.
That's pretty good. Try to get some food in me to wake up. Appreciate it. And then I heard something about mysterious talismans.
All right. As you make your way over to that vendor, there's a small gnome sitting behind the cart. It's almost this end of this long wagon that he's just dropped on the side of the plaza and the commons. The gnome has this like green hair, that the center of his head shaven as it just sticks out from either side, directly out, with this long forked mustache that comes out braided to either side. He goes, welcome. You're looking for something? I've got whatever you want.
I'll be honest, I'm not really looking for anything, but you looked like a wild character, so what you got?
That's not a problem. We've got all different manner of things. Look, as he pulls out a golden quill. Perfect. It'll never break down, and it's beautiful on your desk.
Yeah, I don't write. Next.
I should have known. A man of power. Then you might like this. As he pulls out this long necklace. Each one of these is the tooth of an ogre. It make you look strong and fierce as you charge into battle with this necklace walking around your neck.
Are you trying to insult me?
What do you mean? You look like a fierce warrior.
Yeah, all my trophies I get by killing people, so...
Of course. You want to get your own. I understand. Yeah. Then how about this? As he pulls out, he's just rifling through, throwing stuff around the back of his cart. As he pulls out this small knife. It's like a wood handle, and as he kind of flicks it out, it, just like a pocket knife would today, kind of flicks out. But you've never seen one like that that was foldable before. As he goes, this could be quite useful, easily hideable when you're going in those places where they try to take your weapons.
You're right. You were right.
Are you interested? Something like this, I could part for 3 silver.
About 2 silver and 50 copper.
Done.
Sure. But sorry, I'm doing math.
No, you're fine. And remember, anytime you looking for something random, come see Bill Sapphire.
Right. How do you say that again?
Bill Supper.
Bill Supper? All right, cool. Thank you, Bill Supper.
Yes, it's Bill Supper, as he kind of waves at you, shaking his head.
What a fruit. I love it, but I got this cool little knife thing.
So that knife, if when you go to hide it, you will have advantage on the stealth check.
Freaking bet. I am putting that down. What kind of damage we're talking? Like a 2d6?
A 1d4.
4? My claws are better. I just got scanned by Bill Supper.
Not everybody has claws, though.
I do. Oh. You sneaky son of a gun. I get what you're trying to say.
As it'll come around
to for gold.
as some will come around to Gerard. So Gerard, you've left the smithy, having secured someone to reforge your shield. What are you doing? How are you spending the rest of your day?
I'm going to go back to the Oathsworn Order and apologize to the fella I disrespected yesterday.
Okay. As you make your way through to the Oathsworn, the Temple of the Oathsworn in the Commons, as I stated previously, the last time you ventured here, it's pretty well maintained. It's still in the Commons, but they've got a nice dwarf-crafted wall surrounding it with a tall keep that seems to tower over the rest of the Commons. As you walk up, the guards quickly, seeing your insignia, they let you pass. As you'll actually see Sir John Martell sparring in the yard, his chest baring as he spars with a young recruit.
I'll watch until he's finished.
All right. He's coaching this young one in the art of sword play. As you notice, his skills are pretty good. As after about maybe a half hour, he kind of stops, sweat running down as he turns and sees you. Oh, Gerard, it's a pleasure to have you with us.
I just came down here to apologize for how I acted yesterday.
No apology is necessary. I understand you're under a lot of strain right now, and it can't have been easy, everything that's happened over the last several weeks.
Yes, right. You're right. It really has been hard. But progress and moving forward should help keep my mind off of it. So you said you're stationed here. Why did they move you down here?
I've got a bit more experience than the rest of the ones here. Plus, I've spent my time on the front lines with Yaren, and they decided it was time for a garrison assignment.
Have you not heard what's going on? Point Valiant?
We don't. The messages come through. I know they're looking at to elect a new commander since Gregor was taken down into the pit. I know your name was one of the ones thrown about amongst a few others, but I hear there's a new arrival.
Yeah, Jonah's back.
I had heard that. He's been gone a long time, though.
Yeah. Definitely endorsed it.
Oh, no. I'm sure I'll return when it comes time to cast my vote, and we'll see the candidates then. Are you going to be putting your name forward?
No. There's a few more things that I need to do. A couple more years that I need to be on the front lines before anything like that would happen.
Fair enough. Are you busy?
No, not currently. Not until this evening.
As he kind of wipes himself down with a cloth. Come with me. There's something I want to show you. As he leads you inside to the keep. Walking up the stairs, he walks up about 3 floors before he heads off into his chamber. As he asks you to stop for just a moment, as he walks inside, disappearing inside the door for about 10 minutes before he finally comes out with a book in his hand. I thought you might want this. I
What
know
is this?
it's nothing major as you look down, and it's a book on basic swordsmanship and small unit tactics. Gregor gave that to me when I first joined up. Thought you might want to have it.
Yeah, what was the name of that book again?
An examination of swordsmanship and small unit tactics by Levi Sonyar. You will recognize that name as he was the commander of the Oathsworn before Gregor.
Thank you. This does mean a lot.
Really kind of bow. I thought you might get good use of it as he kind of chuckles.
That's why I use a shield. My my sword skills aren't exactly on point.
This comes with practice, but you'll get there as he kind of grabs your shoulder. Let the light be your guide.
Thank you.
All right, as you go to leave.
No, I'll
Kilroy-
probably spend the rest of my time around the Oathsworn until I hear something from Togric or Kilroy or Alistair.
Maybe praying and silent meditation and
Yes.
doing a bit of training.
Exactly that.
Kilroy and Togric, at this point, about an hour has passed, as after a lot of scratches and quite a bit of whining, the Josen has successfully gotten the measurements for Bella, and he has quoted you the price of, 140 silver.
Give him 140 silver.
All right. As he goes, I've got a few commissions ahead of that, so it'll take me a few days. Will you be here? Is there somewhere that I can reach you at the same place as Alistair?
Same place
As Gerard.
as Gerard.
Oh, I'm sorry, Gerard. All right. I'll deliver both of them when they're done with the Marcher Express in the Harbor District of Emberfall.
Thank you very much.
All these years and you still refuse to do composites.
Yeah.
That's why the old Red Dragon's gonna have you beat.
Ah! Don't bring up that bastard's name around me. He doesn't know how to forge an axe. And he kind of slips and slaps the massive armor hanging over. And he definitely doesn't know how to forge mountain plate.
Yeah, but then again, who can afford mountain plate with the price tag you put on it?
Hey, I'm sure you could. Nah?
I doubt you can beat what I'm wearing, old man.
That's fair. I saw you walking through with that yesterday.
Yeah, Dad insisted, actually.
Good. Armor's always better when it's being put to use instead of rotting in some museum. Get good use out of it.
He
They
says
don't-
that,
they don't
and I
make
just
it like
kind of
that
look
anymore.
at all this mountain plate. I'm pretty sure half of these pieces have been here since I was here last.
Oh, somebody needs to buy them then. And everybody wants their stuff custom nowadays.
To be fair, if I was going to strap myself into a solid hunk of steel, I'd probably want it to hug me in the right places.
Oh yeah, you'd be surprised. People come in and they see that, they buy armor. It's an investment.
An investment. I bet you don't even have the backs on those anymore. That's what I thought. No, if I could have, maybe before I had this, I probably would have bought some. My dad still has his set somewhere, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
Good to see you again. I'm still a better forger and master than you, and have a nice day.
Ah, go fuck a goat. As he turns to you, nice to meet you, Master No.
Nice to meet you too.
And you might need a new apprentice if you don't get some bandages on those cuts there, as I gesture to the entire...
Ah, he'll be fine. Rub some salt in it, boy.
As we're to leave, I kind of point a finger gun backwards and shoot him with a pink ray, and it starts to heal him.
I hate you.
Oh, don't do that. You'll spoil the boy. As he just looks so happy. And he's like, I can't heal this. And he just backhands him.
As I giggle and we close the door.
He hasn't changed a day. It changed a bit. It's like not a day has passed. His whole shop smells the same. The same armor's hanging on the walls. It's like stepping back through time.
As you walk out into the Mithril Ward, you see Alistair walking along with his giant. He's just got a big hunk of bread in one hand. He's just gnawing on it, and on his other hand, he's got this massive axe slung over his shoulder.
So you finally picked it up?
Yeah, I finally got here in time.
Yeah, very much in time after everything. It's definitely on time.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't early. That's for sure.
Especially since we're leaving soon.
Yeah, it should be in another day or two. I'd like to have left as soon as possible, but normally when I stick around Derringer too long, people start to, make up rumors.
Honestly, I'd like to find Gerard and get our items looked at before we leave.
Fair enough. As you guys come together with Gerard praying in the Temple of the Oathsworn, and all of you guys coming together to get your things ready to leave. Before we do that final stuff and head out, this is where we will take our break. It's a little under our halfway point, but I feel like this is a good spot. So we're going to take a quick 10-minute break, everyone. We will be back at, let's say, we'll just be back at the top of the hour. All right, everyone, and we're back after our quick break. As our heroes are preparing to leave the city of Darender after having rescued, or should Torum Hammerfist from the clutches of death and destroyed his would-be assassin. As our heroes have done a bit of shopping the night after their glorious feast. Gerard is in silent meditation and prayer in the Oathsworn Temple of Darren as Alistair, Togric, and Kilroy have just met up inside of the Mithril Ward as we continue.
Has anyone seen Vythe in a few days?
Not since yesterday, actually.
Well, I don't want to accidentally ditch him twice. Once is probably enough to get me blacklisted, so I guess I'll look for Torvin real quick. Anyone want to keep an eye out on Gerard? He seems a bit off balance.
Yeah, I was gonna see if you wanted to come with me for a walk.
That'll work. Alistair. And I just start walking away after saying that.
All right, so you're heading off to go find Torvin. Kilroy, you're going to go find Gerard. Alistair, are you going with either one of them, or do you want to do something else?
I do not want to go with either one because neither one of that sounds fun to me.
Okay.
That's what I thought.
So I shall enter the castle.
All right. As you go about wandering the Mithril Ward in the hall of Clan Bladesong, following along Togric as he walks inside of the doors. Togric, as you walk inside, you have a pretty good idea of where Torvin will be. As you head down to the crypts beneath the hall, as you walk, opening the large stone doors of the place where the hallowed dead are held, as you walk in on Torvin holding a vigil for his brother.
Is he the only one there?
He is the only one here, as nobody else cares enough to hold a vigil for this assassin.
So I don't say anything and kind of listen to his monologue, I suppose.
Okay. He's actually sitting here in silence, in silent prayer to Helmvor, praying for his brother's soul as there's a candle lit on either side of this small stone coffin, unadorned, as no great lengths were taken to send him back to the stone. After a moment, he just kind of stands up, his eyes a bit bloodshot, as if tears had fallen, but he's not currently crying. As he just Torvin, it's nice to see you. What brings you here?
Two things.
Mm-hmm.
One, he asked me to tell you that he loved you.
If I'd have known that he was alive, I'd have sought him out sooner.
I told him
It's
my
a shame that. I appreciate that. It's a shame we had to be reunited this way.
I'm sorry I couldn't. A lava elemental is a bit much even for me.
I know you did what you could. It's he should have just came to me. I know why he was frustrated. We thought he was dead.
You'll see him again one day.
And that's provided that Helmvor lets him within Dwarfhome. We'll see. I'll pray for his soul.
That's all you can do, I suppose.
In the meantime, I don't want to bring you down as he's putting on a brave face. Come on. What can I do for you?
It's actually about a mutual friend of ours, Vythe. I sort of ditched him on my way here, so was wondering if you knew where he was at. We planning to leave either tonight or, well, tonight or in the morning.
he kind of crosses his arm with, because he's missing his right arm from the elbow up, and he kind of picks his arm with the sword picks his teeth with the sword that's attached to the end of his arm. Well, the last I saw him was when he figured out when he was examining your father. Now that I think about it, I don't think I've seen him in maybe a day. He can't have gone far, though.
You don't know Vythe. They're a seedy district in the Outer Ward. Well, I know
Um,
the whole Outer Ward is seedy, but
there's
poisons.
yeah, there's plenty of them. I mean, what do you think he's gotten into?
I don't think he's gotten into anything other than his damn research again.
Well, if he's interested in research, you'll probably find him within the library at the Temple of the Ancestors.
He might have started there, so it's worth checking. But Vythe is pretty thorough. Doesn't always trust everything he reads.
Fair enough.
So, and not everyone's as reserved about exploring the chaos as I am. So we should probably find him quickly.
Fair enough. Do you need help?
If you want to talk to a few people you trust to keep an eye out for his description, I'm sure you remember what he looks like.
Yes, it's hard to forget. A man who looks half dead.
Exactly. So half is generous, but yes. I'll check the library first, see if I can't pick up his trail. I honestly thought I'd be done hunting after that whole... And I went... Sorry.
You're fine. It's fine. It is what it is, and we can't change it. Go, find your friend. I'll ask around.
Sure, and I set silver piece on tombstone. He
Come
looked a
on.
lot like you.
I'm sure he did, except he, if I remember right, he was a bit taller than me. Just a bit, though.
And I'll pat him on his shoulder of his good side and start moving my way towards the library.
All right. As we come over to Kilroy, you've kind of wandered around a bit, asking questions as you're quickly pointed to the Temple of the Oathsworn. As you approach the gates, the guards kind of stop. Whoa! What's your business within the temple?
My friend might be here, Gerard St. Ives.
Never heard of him. As one of the other ones the other guard slaps him. You've heard of Gerard. Shut up. You know he's in the temple. He's in the temple. Ignore this asshole.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
What are you doing? They're having a bit of fun with the little guy.
I'm gonna let my bear kind of like growl at him.
Which is like, sorry. As you walk inside of the keep, down below to the small chapel they keep on the underlevel, it's off the main hallway, a small room, no more than 20 feet long and maybe 15 feet wide, filled with maybe 8 pews, 4 on either side, and a small altar to the light up front, with a very few amount of smaller altars to Zenades, Helmvor, and Bahamut. As you see, Gerard knelt in silent prayer before the altar. Actually, at this point, his armor is off, and he's wearing the traditional brothers' robes of the Oathsworn when they're not in combat.
I snap my finger and have the bear turn small, and me and him come up next to him, and we both kind of kneel down. I'm gonna sit and pray for about 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna stand up, and I'm gonna say, Gerard, we're heading out tonight.
As I'll come out of the prayer and I'll look at him. Back to Emberfall?
Yeah.
Do you know what time?
Not exactly. but I was hoping we might be able to get our items uh, taken care of before we leave. Some of them we don't know what they do yet.
Would you mind taking them for me?
Yeah, I can do that.
Um, yeah, I would appreciate that. As I walk over to where my armor is on the edge of the room, and I'll grab out my large bag from underneath the armor and hand it to you.
Alrighty, I'll go have these checked, and we'll come back whenever we're ready to leave.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. As you go to leave the temple, walking out, where are you going to get these items identified?
Well, if I know where any mages are, I'd probably go to the library.
That's fair enough. As you head over to the Temple of the Ancestors, a large temple in the Mithril Ward, hewn out of stone and rock that looks over the rest of Darren-Dur. The Temple of the Ancestors in any major dwarven city is the center of learning and of faith. It is here that the major dwarven pantheon is worshipped, headed by Helmvor. Um, and then, of course, the lesser deities Duma, Soul Rage, and Grugnir. Um, as you walk up to the large temple, it's also known as a center of records, where records of the hold and of the clans of the area are held in perpetuity. As you walk up to the towering monstrosity, tall circular columns hewn out of the rock, reflecting darkstone back at you. You see Tagric walking up the long stairs towards the temple.
Oh, hey, we met up again.
Seems so. I'm looking to find Vythe in here.
Yeah, I tried to get Gerard to come with me. He wants to continue to stay and pray.
Yikes. That bad, huh?
Yeah, I've never seen him drink before. I think it's that bad.
It's not just about the shield for him.
Yeah.
It's finally sinking in. He needs to pay a visit to Point Valiant as soon as possible. Actually
Yeah.
grieve. After we get back to Emberfall, we'll make time.
Yes.
As you guys walk into the long hallway, the roof arches over you as the walls are inlaid with murals of gold and silver depicting ancient battles of old, the awakening of Balin the Great, the first dwarf to walk the greater realms. The war against the storm with the Stone Lands and the Vrakar Empire as the dwarves struggled against the Dragon Lords. And the history of your race lines the walls as the entire building just creates this sense of awe as it towers maybe 100 feet above you. Long pews fill the hall as there's this mighty white marble altar set in front of you dedicated to Helmvor, and then lesser altars to Grugnir and Duma on the side. As you see a single dwarf lady, a young dwarf lass, completely robed in white, trimmed with gold, as she's swinging incense as it fills the hall. She chants in a low dwarfen hymn.
That incense is strong. As I kind of my nose here. All right. So I'll go up to the priestess here.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
Okay. Oh! She kind of turns around, almost dropping the incense before she turns around. Oh, I'm sorry. We weren't expecting anyone.
You're fine.
What can I do for you?
I'm looking for someone who might have come by here. Pale
What was
McGuy.
that? Yeah, it
Uh,
was too loud.
I'm looking for somebody who might have come by here. Pale fellow wearing a black and purple robe.
Oh, I think I saw the one you were talking about. He came through yesterday and went down to the library, but I haven't seen him come back out. He gave me the. He just. Ugh.
Yeah, that's why you're using the incense, because he smells like a moving corpse. I get it. It's fine. He's probably still down there then. Do you mind pointing me in the right direction?
Not a problem. Is that down that large door over there? If you walk down the hallway, there's a stairwell that goes straight down, and you'll see him there.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
And what's your name?
Uh, Togrick. Togrick
Uh,
Hemifus.
As she kind of bats her eyes on you, her eyes at you. It's nice to meet you. I'm Hilda.
Nice to meet you, Hilda. And I step by her, kind of, nod, whatever, and then move towards the stairs down to the library.
Okay. And you is going with your friend?
I'm actually here to see if I can get any help with identifying what these items do. As I hold
Ah,
up a bag of items.
you'll be wanting Ebron. He's he's our high priest of Grugnir. I believe you'll find his office down the same hallway. It's this third door on your left. But just be careful. He's a bit testy in the morning.
I always get the testy ones as I go down the hallway.
Okay. You quickly head off to your left as Tagric heads down the hall. As you walk into the office, there's a very short dwarf with long blonde, an unkempt beard sitting behind this towering mass of books, paper strewn all across the floors. He's got a smoking cup of coffee in his hand as he just sips it grimly, his fingers covered with ink as he pores over this tome in front of him. As you walk in and open the door, he just looks up. What?
I wondered if I could ask for help.
You can ask.
Oh, okay.
Is there any way you could identify any of the items I have on me?
I could.
What would you like in return?
For identifying them?
Yes.
You'd have to ask me to identify them first.
Will you identify these items, please?
How many?
I have 3 on me.
And 7 on me.
Okay, is he just like I don't have anything better to do with my time? Bring them here, bring them here. 10 total. I'll identify the whole lot for 100 silver.
So to clarify, it's 10 drakes to 1 dragon.
Yeah, so it'd be 10
All right.
dragons.
I hand him 10 dragons.
As all of a sudden he's in a better mood. As he goes, all right. So he'll go through chanting as the light illuminates with a flash, as his eyes glow blue, and he looks over your items.
Did you say anything?
Yes, and what do you have?
Oh, okay. Leather bracers with a silver inlay. I got that from Vimagor.
All right, let me pull this up. All right, the bracers are plus 2 bracers of armor.
And then a black fur cloak that I got from Vimagor.
That is a plus 2 cloak of resistance.
Okay, and then the hammers that I got from Vimagor.
Those are both throwing hammers of returning. So both of them, when you throw them, with just a quick, with a swift action, they'll return back to your hand.
Okay.
All right. I have magic silver ring with sapphire inlay from Keslif.
From Keslif. All right, let me pull him up. All right, the sapphire ring. That is a +2 ring of protection.
Leather silver bracers.
That's from Keslif.
Yeah, these are all from Keslif, other than the last
Okay.
two, but I didn't write down who they were from.
All right, so these are bracers of shadows. 3 times per day, they can be activated to give advantage on stealth checks.
All right. And then a black satin cloak.
All right, the black satin cloak. That is a +1 cloak of resistance.
And then I have a black leather belt.
All right. That is the belt of abhorrent strength. It will grant a +4 bonus to strength and a +2 bonus to dex.
And then the brace of daggers.
That item, he tells you, he'll tell Kilroy, does have an evil aura about it. You said
Okay.
Abrasive Daggers. Is that also from
You guys left the brace of throwing
Keslif?
daggers. Yeah,
So-
we found it in the chest though. It
This
wasn't on
is a arcane. This is our arcane base of throwing daggers, so it will never run out of daggers. The daggers disappear after a few seconds, but it will never run out of throwing daggers.
And then banded mail, magical banded mail.
That is a +1 banded mail.
And then the long red cloak.
Where did you get the cloak from? The red cloak.
I don't remember. I didn't write it down.
Let me pull.
I also
pull it right
lied. I
now.
have 2 more items.
All right, the cloak has fire resistance. So it grants 5 resistance to fire. What were your 2 other items, Kilroy?
The elephant symbol was a black stone material that we got in the depths. And then there was the gold necklace with the ruby that we also got in the depths.
Do you remember where you got them in the depths?
The elephant symbol was off of one of the people we had killed, and then the gold necklace was off of, out of.
Was that the captain?
Yeah.
Give me a second. Let me pull him up.
And then I'll of course lay 2 more gold down because I forgot about those 2.
All right, so this is a he didn't get the chance to use it, but this is a Amulet of Sanctuary. Once per day you can activate the Sanctuary spell on yourself as a swift action.
Okay.
And he spends a bit of time peering at this small elephant statue. I'll need more time to examine this one. I'm not quite sure what it does. Is now he sits down genuinely intrigued. Its aura is warded.
All right. I'll go meet up with Togrick, and I will be back.
How much time do I have to study it?
Until nightfall.
Okay, as he sits down, finally, as he just kind of just shoves books off the table, a challenge as he reaches over to his library and just starts pulling books off the shelf.
All right. As I begin to go where the lady had Hilda instructed Togrick to go.
Okay. Togrick, as you walk down the long stairs into the long, just so far out that the eyes can't even see library of this ancient dwarfen hold, you quickly see Vythe, not 20 feet in, just sitting there surrounded by books.
Knew it. Let me guess. You finally moved on to cross-referencing everything.
Yes, and it's loud up there.
Dwarven hold, kind of what you would expect.
Yes, but it's just not my most comfortable place. As you look down in between two of the bookshelves, you see that he's kind of set up a bedroll down here.
Let me guess, you've been down here since the diagnosis?
Well, I'm no longer needed. You seem to have everything in order, and I wanted to get away from all of the people.
Let's see. Did you name drop me to get into the library for this long?
No, they let me in. Well, who's going to tell me to leave?
Okay, yeah, that's a valid point. You did actually, diagnose the poison, so that probably...
I did.
Although Kilroy
Yeah, I
might
did.
have something to say about it. You cured it, if nothing else.
People don't tell me to go anywhere. As Kilroy walks down the steps.
Except, the Grandmaster and you who shall not be named.
Don't get snippy.
We'll be leaving later tonight. Of course, you're free to stay, but I figured ditching you once might have been pushing the boundary. Probably shouldn't doing it a second time.
We can finally go back. As he kind of stands up, pulling up his hood, hiding his disfigured, scarred face, with just his gray skin and his almost rotting features.
Looks like the necrosis has spread a bit. You might want to talk to the Grandmaster when we get back.
Yeah, it is what it is. Everybody knows I don't have long.
Well, there's the alternative, but you wouldn't be a great member at that point, would you?
No, I'll handle it the traditional way. It's not important.
We'll be having words when we get back, Bryce.
I mean, we all know what we signed up for. As he looks directly at your eye.
There's the treatment, as I hear his footsteps getting closer.
As Kilroy, you approach, as they're kind of having this hushed conversation that quickly stops as you grow near.
You
I
finished
see,
up
I
quick.
see. Yeah. I just had to get a few things identified and apparently stumped the old man up there.
With what?
Remember that elephant symbol that I picked up? He has no clue what that is.
Well, there's enough books in here to bury a mountain, so I'm sure he'll find something.
Fair enough.
Vythe is, itching to leave.
Yeah. I told him where he's gotten till nightfall with that elephant symbol.
Okay.
As Vythe just kind of turns, yes, sooner is better.
Okay. Meet us by the gates. Around however you can tell time down here.
I'll meet you there in a few hours.
Sounds good.
Alright.
And you might want to try, depending on what you're looking into, as I kind of skim some of the books on the ground in front of him. Just grabbing a title here.
As you pull up, he's Poisons, Toxins, and the Horrors of the Underworld.
There's a section when there was, from our time in the East, actually, that we've recently documented some of the more exotic ingredients over there. Second bookshelf, third hallway on the left. You might want to give those a shot.
I'll take a look.
Don't read the one I penned, alright? I wrote it when I was younger. And
As he just heads down that, we've been walking a bit faster now. Even though Vythe moves fast nowhere.
I probably shouldn't have mentioned that. But he'll get some fun stories about the headhunter, I suppose. Come on, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
Right. As you guys walk back up, as coming over to Alistair now. So, Alistair, at this point, you said you were going to explore the halls of Clan Bladesong. As you walk in to the large Great Hall, you've explored a lot of the western reaches where the royal family is held. And you spent a small bit of time in the lower reaches where Torim's lover was held. Where else do you want to explore? And obviously, you spent some time in the Great Hall partying last night.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like, I was honestly just gonna wander around. Just
Okay.
not wanting to deal with the other two, for being honest.
That's fair enough. You spend some time wandering around, walking amongst the dwarves, kind of seeing how they live their lives. These are your adopted father's people, and while you know Otello, and you've met other dwarfs before, you've never really spent a significant amount of time in a dwarfen hold, where the majority of the people were dwarfen. As you walk around and kind of just take it all in, hearing the smiths down in the armory hammering away at their mail, walking past the kitchens and just getting the whiffs of hearty breads and stewing meats that come out of there, as you kind of pilfer an ale to kind of quench your thirst as you walk around. Quite a bit of sparring going on in the back, as you might even partake of some sparring against the warriors of Clan Bladesong. While the dwarfs aren't quite as strong as you, they're definitely stout, able to handle your blows in their heavy mail. As finally you make your way back to the entrance. At this point, a few hours have passed, and it's maybe mid-afternoon. You're sure your friends are probably done with the temple now.
Yep. You're right.
Okay. What do you want to do?
Head back up.
Okay.
I guess I'll head back up.
You walk out. Where do you want to do? Is there something else you want to explore? Do you want to go meet up with them at the temple? You guys are leaving at nightfall, they told you. Do you maybe just want to go wait by the gate?
Probably just gonna go up to my room and take a nap. That way I'm not tired at nightfall, since we're leaving at night.
Fair enough. All right. As you go upstairs, determined to take a nap, Kilroy and Togrick, when you guys finally end up leaving the Temple of the Ancestors, it's maybe 3:30 in the afternoon, as the day has kind of passed, and you have only a few hours before the time you've set to leave.
If you don't mind, I'd like to talk with my brother. It might be some time before I come back here. And I'd like to spend a few moments catching up.
I understand. I'm gonna go back with Gerard for a little bit.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Corey.
All right.
No problem.
As Kilroy, you head back to the temple. Gerard, at this point, it's been like 4 hours. Are you still praying, or what are you doing?
Yes, I'm still praying.
All right. As Kilroy, you're once again left past the guards. And as you walk down into the chapel, Gerard is still praying.
I look at him for a minute in silence, and then me and the bear walk up next to him, kneel down, and just pray and sit there with him.
Okay. As you guys comfort each other with your companionship.
Go
ahead.
It's not only praying, it's also quiet reflection, I say to Kilroy.
Yeah, I didn't want to bother you. I thought you were in deep thought.
I never thought that after leaving one teacher to take on a true mentor that I'd have to fight a battle without a sword or a shield. take a page out of the book of Jonah.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta learn from others to continue to keep going on.
As you guys pass the time quietly, kind of comforting each other with your friendship and prayer. Togric, as the day wears on, you make your way back into the Hall of Clan Bladesong, up to your brother's
One
chambers.
I
Go
do
ahead.
check for if that guard who I had conflict with is here again. If he's not, I'll have just missed him. But checking if he's here again.
He is not on. As you after this is the third or fourth time you've looked for him, you probably assume that he got reassigned.
You know what? I actually stopped at one of the gate guards. There was a man here maybe 5 days ago on guard. We had a bit of a confrontation. Do you know where he was stationed?
I heard about that. I think he's being what's the word? Oh, given some corrective training down in the barracks.
Who you might have known who requested that, as I'm like deliberately a bit annoyed.
The steward. Something about good order and discipline.
Thanks, soldier.
No problem.
I head in a bit irritated, and look for Edric.
Okay. As you walk down towards his chambers, not seeing him in the Great Hall, though people are starting to mill about preparing for dinner for the evening. You walk towards his door. What do you do?
First, I make sure I don't hear covers moving.
Roll me a perception.
All right. Perception. 30.
All right, you hear a low whispering from the other side of the door, but I mean, you don't hear. The bed is not a rockin'.
All right. Then I just open the door.
All right, as you walk in, you'll see your brother with his long red beard hanging down, sitting next to a very beautiful dwarfen lass. She's got black hair pulled back with a bit of downy tuft across her chin, with a very full figure, wearing plain robes, but still holding her head up proud, with a look of an intelligent gleam within her eye. As Edric turns, brother, it's nice of you to join us. May I present Isfarn
Isfarn of Clan.
of No Clan.
No worries. Just take it in stride.
Um,
So this is the one I've heard about then, eh, brother?
yes, I've decided that I will invite her to stay here.
I see. Well, I'm rather offended you didn't have her deign to meet me.
Well, you can meet her now, Isfarn. And she goes, I've heard a lot about you, Togric. Edric talks about you all the time, as she holds out to shake your hand.
And I do. Oh, I'm sure he does, about what a miserable bastard I was to grow up with, no doubt.
Not at all. All he speaks of is your heroics.
That would have been
Tell
nice to
him
know, brother.
that? I don't know what you're talking about. I think you're a miserable old cuss.
It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm sure you'll make Eric a very happy man.
Well, that is the goal. Some of the clans might not like it, but I've decided that I'm not going to let anyone hold me back from what makes me happy. As he gives you a knowing look.
You sure you don't want to join the order, brother? I mean, you get out from under all that stress.
As he kind of laughs and he kind of leans in. I'm sorry, brother, but I'd like my balls to keep working.
They work just fine, just no children, that's all.
That's the problem.
And I kind of like hollow look at this point.
No, brother, as he puts his hand on her belly, that's the problem.
I see. Yvonne, would you please wait outside for just a moment?
Of course. As she kind of walks out the door.
You idiot! And I slam him across the face.
He kind of laughs. It's fine, brother. I'm in love.
Congratulations. So right after I slug him, I hug him. Congratulations.
You too, uncle.
Uncle. If I'm around long enough to see him.
I'm sure you will be. Now you've got a reason to get back.
How far along?
You're the first one to know. So
a cycle or two then.
not long. Let me tell Father.
I don't know what you mean.
Thank you.
Of course. I'll
When are you leaving?
tonight. Leaving tonight.
You have to leave so soon?
It's fairly important. Vythe doesn't leave the sanctuary much anymore, and there's some legal matters to attend to back in Emberfall.
I understand. Don't be a stranger anymore. I missed you.
We'll see. I'm a bit worried about staying too long with my name still being in the book and everything. So.
I understand. As he kind of gives you a hug. All right, no more moments. As he kind of straightens himself out.
You're gonna name him after me, right?
Fuck you. I'd rather name him after our goat.
We have a goat? Dad never
You
let
know-
me have a goat.
You don't remember back on the Dragon Coast before we came over, little Shirley?
Oh, you mean that little mountain ram. That's not a goat. Not a goat.
Ah, it was close enough.
You always talked about, I'm going to ride it into battle one day. I remember that. How'd that
Bet
work?
you I get a ram before you?
You're probably right. With what they pay me, anyway.
But think about it. You could have had all this.
There was someone better for the job.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Don't
no
go tell
harm.
them. Don't go telling people that though. They'll have expectations.
Speaking of, you really need to live up to them, brother. I know that with Father being out of commission, you had some things to think about, but speaking plainly, what I came to here to was a disgrace. And you should hold yourself primarily responsible for that. I hold you primarily responsible for that. The clan's getting to that state, and we haven't seen that since before Darendor was refounded.
I know. I've
Been lax.
always had you or Father to clean up my messes. It won't happen again.
Swear.
I swear. I swear it by Helmvor's anvil.
You better keep that oath, and they won't let you into Dwarfhome.
I will.
I'm not always going to be around to save you, you know. And neither will Father. Magic water or not. He's getting old.
He's not even 400 years yet. He's got another century easy.
You know what I mean. Not
Do you know what you mean?
old that way, but tired, maybe. Not every king serves until their death. So, be ready. That's all I'm asking of you, okay?
I'll strive to be.
And congratulations. You have big shoes
Thank
to
you.
fill. As I turn away and, open the door, it was a pleasure meeting you, and congratulations.
Pleasure to meet you as well. As she gives you a hug. Very tight one.
Think about naming him Torvald, okay? I think he'd get a kick out of it.
We'll think about it.
And if it's a girl, I've always liked Belle.
That's not very dwarfin'.
As
You've
I
been
wave
living with humans for too long.
and keep walking. Bye, brother. Hopefully see you before the next decade, all right?
All right. As time passes, Gerard and Kilroy, you realize it's time to make your way as night is beginning to fall to reunite with your companions. As Alistair, you um, are waken up by one of the servants that you had asked to wake you up. And the time comes, and you gather together with Tagric at the entranceway to Clan Bladesong to say your goodbyes before you head out to reunite with your companions.
I will be right back, guys. And I fly off towards the temple with the library.
Okay.
Meet us by the gate, as you say.
I'll be there.
All right. As you guys head towards the gate, um,
I leave
let's
my bear
see.
with you guys.
All right. Um, all right, guys. So, you head towards the temple while the rest of you guys are heading towards the gate.
Yep.
Okay. As you come over and you head towards the temple, landing at its gates before you walk in, you make your way to Edrum's office as he's still standing over the artifact. As you walk in, he just looks up, much more excited than he was this morning. He goes, "What did you find? Where did you find this?"
Under this city, actually.
The best I can tell is it's not native to Eridar at all, but one of the other realms. I'm not sure which one, though. I need more time to study it. Either you can leave it with me and I'll send you a message when I know more. If not, and you want to take it, I highly encourage you to take it to Emberfall Academy.
I am actually a professor there. That I will take it there.
Fair enough, as he wraps it up in a bit of paper. I would be careful about handling it, though, until we know its true origin.
Good to know. Thank you. As I
Would you
Kinda.
mind, when you figure out what it is, writing me? I'm just intrigued.
Sure, I'll make sure you know.
Fair enough.
Thanks for all your help.
As you
You
make
should
your
have
way
said for 10 gold.
No.
to meet up with your companions. At this point, guys, for everyone there, Alistair has a previous engagement. Nilla Gorilla does tonight, so he's going to be leaving us a bit early. But we're going to continue on playing. So we're going to continue on playing, but Nilla Gorilla will be leaving us for the rest of the evening. You had to go, right?
Yeah, I gotta go do some work.
Yep, you're good. But so he's going to leave it soon. We are going to continue on till our normal time. But I just wanted to let you guys know that he was going to be stepping away.
Good night, boys.
See you, Nilla.
Good night, man.
Night.
Good night, buddy.
As the rest of you guys gather together at the gates to Darrendur that lead to the long passage back to the surface, you guys kind of look around at the city that you've helped save. As Torvin walks up with a bag hunched over his shoulder and kind of looks back over. So, lads, are we ready?
Would it surprise you if I said no?
No, it wouldn't. But there's more to do, as always. And Alexander needs us.
You maybe. Alright, let's get going.
Fair enough. Gerard, as he kind of turns to you, I apologize on behalf of my family for the destruction of your shield. And if there's anything I can do to assist, I'm here for you.
As I look down at my barren arm. It's all right. Keep moving one day at a time, I guess.
I understand.
Gerard, before we go, I know it's not a replacement, but I'd be honored if, for the time being, you'd wield my shield. As I sling off my Dwarven Tower shield with the Blade Song family crest on it. Till your replacement comes in, of course.
I would be honored. Thank
Besides, can't let you get rusty.
Huh.
I slip it off my back here and pass it over to him. Might be a bit heavier than what you're used to, but I promise. Edwin might be a right bastard, but he's a hell of a smith. It'll be good as new in no time.
you. Thanks.
All right, as you guys gird yourselves together, Gerard throwing Togrik's shield across his back, Alistair with his new axe in one hand and his old in the other across his shoulders. The gates of Darrender open as you guys walk into the cold mountain air. Night has fallen as you make your way out underneath the stars for the first time in several days.
The moment we get out to open sky, I make sure to look around for Vythe.
Vythe is trailing behind you quietly, his back burgeoning a bit more with the added books that he's picked up from the library.
So I kind of slow down to meet up with him and till I'm walking step in step.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad, isn't it? Worse than normal.
I'll be fine.
Vythe, you asshole. Talk to me. How bad?
I'll be fine. I'll make it home.
Do I hear any of this?
Roll me a perception.
It's soon, isn't it? Sooner than any of us thought.
Yes.
It's too late for...
14.
You hear all of this. Certainly. It is. There will be no choice but to have the ceremony when we return.
If he'd just let me try the alternative.
Our traditions are in place for a reason. It's not for you to question the Grand Master.
Doesn't make any sense. We already know we have the ability to draw it out.
To a certain extent, but not to this. We know what the result of our powers are.
Just, there's more of us now than there ever have been. We could try. I'm speaking to the Grand Master when we get back. I'm not having you do me a favor for me to owe you one and then for you to die.
As everybody kind of turns to look at you, as he just kind of looks you in the eyes for a moment and goes, and if you fail, I'm not risking that corruption getting loose. This is my decision, Togric, and I would appreciate it if you'd respect it.
As
he just...
I audibly grind my teeth.
And he walks past you. Everybody's kind of staring. He goes, "What are you looking at? Let's get walking. If we want to make Culber's Ferry by tomorrow night, we better get moving."
As I spit into the distance and, press forward.
All right. How long do you guys walk through the night?
Now that I know what I know, until everybody else needs to stop. So.
I sleep on the back of my bear.
Okay. As you guys kind of rumble around, making your way, walking through the night, as your sleep schedule has been really off recently anyway, as you were underground, until the morning light finally peaks over the mountains. As you guys have made your way out of the foothills into the low vale that forms the majority of the Blesnak Kingdom. After having walked for about 12 hours, Torvin kind of goes, "Guys, we've got to take a rest."
4 hours. Then we'll move again, okay?
All right. As he just plops down and just like instantly just sets his bag down and goes to sleep.
I'll take watch. I slept through the night.
Where's Vythe resting at?
He's picked out a decent tree as he's kind of nestled against it, holding his pack around his front. His hood's up as he's kind of got his head down into his pack.
So I'll kind of settle out over there, within earshot of himself. And are you even able to sleep anymore?
No, I haven't slept in weeks.
Just gradual, or did you do something?
It's gradually happened.
It's a terrible creed we follow.
It's the price we pay for the people we're able to save. I have no regrets, Tagric.
I'm conflicted, Vythe. More conflicted than I've been in decades. Being back at Derrender hurts more than I thought it would. More than I ever expected it would.
I'm not surprised. Are you so troubled because... Are you really so troubled because of what's happening to me, Vythe? To me, Tagric? Or it's because you finally realize that one day this is going to happen to you?
No, it's not that. It's... It feels like what we do doesn't make a difference. It feels like we give everything we have and it's still not enough. And I just...
Well, the city of Emberfall and your father would disagree. They're both standing because of you. And everyone else here.
It just doesn't feel like enough. It doesn't feel meaningful.
As he kind of just rolls over, I'm going to sleep. But I just leave you with something to think about. You don't have to win them all, Tagric. You just have to win enough. As he rolls over.
Give me your arm, you asshole.
For what?
Just do it.
He'll hold out his hand.
So, I kind of pull on that corrupted feeling. Like, first, I grip his arm as tight as I can, because I know he's going to stop. He's going to try to stop. But I pull just enough, as much as I can hold, and try to get enough for him to be able to be at ease. Because I know I can tell he's been basically about to burst.
When you go to reach out and sense his corruption, for the first time you realize the depths of how bad it is. If you were to pull out and cleanse all of the corruption from him that you were physically capable of doing to your very limit, it would be like pouring out a drop from a bucket.
Damn it. Then if that doesn't work, then... And I try to match the amount. Try to match the wave, so that it's circulating through both of us instead.
When you go... Okay. When you go to do that, he'll quickly pull his hand back. Don't be fucking stupid. You can't handle that amount yet. Just let it go. I'll make it home.
God damn it, Vythe. And I turn over and go to sleep.
I kind of come over to Vythe and I ask him, hey, is there any way you would let me try to help you sleep?
You could cast the sleep spell.
As I wave my hand over his face. And it begins to glow green. Does he fall asleep?
All right. As you reach out to him, your hand glowing green, for a moment, nothing happens. As he just kind of sighs, and for a second, you think that the spell isn't going to work before his eyes slowly close as he passes out.
It's not polite to eavesdrop, you know.
I was worried.
Nothing we do is gonna matter anyway. Just let it go.
If it helps ease him and you a little bit, I don't mind helping.
It's appreciated, but you can't save somebody who doesn't want to be saved. Kilroy.
Wasn't trying to help him or save him, just help him a little bit.
Thanks anyway. Get
No
some
problem.
Get something to eat. Rest up. It's a long march in the morning.
I slept all night. I'll be taking watch while you guys sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm out like a light.
All right. As Togric and Alistair fall asleep, joining Torvin and Vythe, Kilroy, you're sitting up. Gerard, it takes you a minute to fall asleep as you just are thinking about everything that's happened.
Kind of just leaning with my back up against a tree, sitting in the ground.
And it seems the minutes pass by until finally your eyes slowly shut and sleep overwhelms you. You feel yourself falling back almost into a dream as shadows begin to you fall into them almost like a blanket as you're sitting here sleeping as you normally do, dreamless. You begin to feel as if you're falling, just whistling through the air. The feeling slowly begins to overwhelm you, almost with a sense of primal fear. That feeling that when you first drop out of the back of a chair, as you just are falling through time and space. Minutes pass into hours, and hours pass into what seems like days. Until finally the shadows start to swirl around you, turning a light tinge of red as you kind of reach out to try to pull your way up. And they rush into you through your nose and your mouth, choking you. You almost feel like you're drowning as the air around you grows thick, almost like a sludge is pulling you down. As you reach your hand out, you feel a bit of rock and stone as you begin to pull yourself out of what feels like this hole that you've fallen into. Until finally you see a dim light off in the distance. As you pull yourself towards it and pull yourself towards it, you break through. And as you look around, you realize you're standing in a pond of this blackish reddish water surrounding you up to the waist. As you kind of wipe your eyes and stare around, you look upon the black clouds that stride across the sky, interspersed with flame and lightning that crackles between them. Bits of ash and stone fall from the sky as you look around on the barren wasteland that you can only recognize as Rancor. You stand on the side of a long path going east to west with these barren rocks of black stuttering through the landscape. As you look to your left, the path winds off into a long volcanic field, spewing forth bits of ash and lava. As you look to your right, you see a tall tower made out of the darkest stone, coming up with prongs at the top and a low flame burn overhead as you hear screams coming from within the tower.
Do I still have my armor, my weapons, as I look around?
You do. You
So
do
I guess
have
the
your
first
armor
thing
and
that I would
weapons.
need to do is proceed to the tower.
All right. As you walk towards the tower, going across a long bridge over a bit of lava, as you walk up to it, the tower is mysteriously empty. Um, as you walk up a long stairway into what appears to be a tall stone door. As you get closer to the tower, the screams radiate through your mind.
And this feels very real.
Yes.
As I pull a dagger in my bag and I cut my hand.
So as you cut your hand, you feel the blood dripping from the ground as it sizzles as it hits the scorching earth of the seven hells.
I'll make sure to cut myself deep enough.
You did. You did.
Okay.
You don't wake up.
That's not what I'm doing.
Okay.
And then I begin to cross the bridge as I take notice whose shield am I wielding.
You are wielding the Gregor's shield, the one that he made for you.
All right. As I proceed across the lava-filled pit.
Okay. As you come up to the tower, it's empty. You don't see anyone in the area, but the screams still wail from within the building. Almost familiar.
As I open the door, I enter the tower.
As you enter the tower, it appears just to be a circular tower with a stairwell running up. As the screams reverberate through, the moment you open the door, you recognize them as Gregor's.
I think I knew that before I walked in the door.
Mm-hmm.
What does it look like in the room?
So in this area, when you walk in, it's like immediately like 5 feet in front of you. There's a wall, and then the staircase just winds up the tower.
There's
To
only
your
a staircase going up.
There's only a staircase going up.
All right, I continue to move up then. I move up the
Okay.
stairs.
You move up the stairs, recognizing that it's Gregor. You take them two at a time, running up step after step, what seems like an eternity before you finally get to the top. As you see a door in front of you, blood dripping out, as you just hear wailing and screaming from the inside, as he calls out your name, Gerard! Gerard, help! As you run to the door and open it, and with the flash of light, you're blinded as you awaken, covered in a cold sweat. As Kilroy, you see as you turn, it's been hours at this point. It's actually about time to wake everyone up as Gerard just pops up in a cold sweat,
I look down at the palm of my
breathing
hand.
heavily.
Yo, are you okay?
Gerard, you are bleeding from your hand.
As
But
I
there's
clench,
no, there's no
as I-
cut.
What happened to your hand?
as I clench my fist. Nothing. I'm fine.
Okay, then. And I go wake up Togric and Torvin and Vythe.
When you wake me up, I tell you I'll get Vice.
Okay.
And I'm monitoring the corruption in the area in case something happened while we slept.
Okay, so as you do that, you feel when you're like scanning the corruption, you're really scanning for Vythe and Shadow Fiends at the moment, but you're almost taken aback at the ebbing corruption rapidly leaving Gerard.
So I kind of like look over my shoulder at him. And do I see, so I pull off the eye patch. Do I see anything other than...
It's just this aura of corruption. It's dissipating so quickly that it's at this point it's almost just a trace, like a wisp that's stuck to him before it quickly disappears. Almost impossible to identify, but it was clearly shadow corruption.
One problem at a time. And I go back to focusing in on Vythe, making sure it's still stable.
As you
Well,
come over to him,
as stable
and
as
you
like.
kind of scan him as he's getting up. He's still stable, but you can sense the burgeoning power within him.
We need to get you home. Come on, get up. So I hold out my arm.
Okay. As he gets up, I'm fine. As he pulls himself up and throws on his pack. At this point, Torvin gets up and kind of looks around. Seeing you kind of get up, he kind of nods in your direction before he looks at Gerard, who's still covered in sweat. Are you okay, boy?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Vythe, sorry to interrupt here, but come with me for a second.
Okay.
As we walk a little distance away, taking a piss, as I wave over our shoulder. And I whisper in a low tone to him, "Are you leaking?"
No, I'm fine. Stop worrying about me like an old
I'm
nag.
not worried about you, damn you. I'm asking if you're leaking. Gerard had corruption on him when he woke up this morning. Are you leaking?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I still have control of myself. You said he had corruption on him.
A wisp. I barely caught it while I was checking your condition.
Well, we need to examine him then as he pulls out his weapon.
It's gone, but we both know it could have been any number of creatures or spontaneous burst. He really needs to let go. You know about Illidion, right?
Yeah.
Gregor fell there. Whether or not Gerard realizes it, he's like a father figure to him. So I think he's caught up on it, and
That doesn't explain the shadow corruption coming from them, as once again he tries to walk past you towards Gerard. That doesn't explain anything.
I don't think you're the best person for him to speak with. I'll handle it. Just let you be aware.
As he puts it, fine, but he's crossing his shoulders, crossing his arms as he goes, fine, I'll wait here.
Maybe eat something?
I'm not hungry.
I didn't ask. And I go back over to Gerard.
At this point, Kilroy's packing up his shit. Right, Kilroy?
Yep. So did you guys pee together, or did you ask him to come hold it?
Well, actually, funnily enough,
Torvin loses his shit at this. He's
yeah, well, after the eavesdropping last night, I thought it'd be better to have an excuse.
I understand.
And,
as Torvin just kind of looks at him, he's like, yeah.
And how much? I'm gonna let it go because I love you, Torvin.
Yeah, that's because it's already gone.
As I just, there's one thing I can do that you still can't. As I walk over to Gerard.
Yeah, I also try not to scratch my balls as he holds up his sword hand.
Ugh, poor imagery there. All right. As I walk over to the sweaty paladin here.
I'm no longer sweaty. I am putting on my armor and
You still
praying.
look sweaty, man. I don't know what armor has to do with.
So he has cleaned off his sweat at this point, and he's cleaned away the blood. You do not have a scar on your hand or even an injury there, just the blood that was dripping down as you awoke. He looks a bit clammy, but he's not sweating anymore.
Looking a bit pale, Gerard. You all right there?
I mean, I lost my shield. Doing the best I can.
It's kind of piss poor. You had, being honest with you, you had at least a trace. Probably more. Corruption on you when you woke up this morning. Did you have a dream last night or nightmare? Anything like that?
No, I'm immune to corruption.
Kind of a misnomer. Nothing's immune to corruption except maybe highest angels. It's more like a tolerance, and I'm not doubting that you have that, but I'm asking if you had a bad dream.
I don't remember. I don't remember if I dreamt.
Roll deception.
I don't know if I'd roll an insight on him. Feel like
I
do
will.
at this point.
I was eavesdropping. I am, because I asked him if he was okay, and I saw everything.
Roll me. He's not that far, but roll me a perception anyway, just to make sure.
Oh, perception first. Okay. Nope. I don't notice. The nat one.
Oh yeah, you definitely don't notice. I see your insight check, Gunny. I don't see a deception check. I think James is trying to find it. That's not a skill he uses.
That's true.
Yeah, it's not a skill I use.
Alphabetical.
Hold on, I gotta do this. I'm just gonna have to do this as a. Hold on.
Oh, I thought it was a 6 for a second.
You don't believe any of his bullshit.
All the shit we've waded through, and you still can't tell me an honest answer?
I don't know what it was. I don't really want to talk about it.
It was a bad sign, Gerard. And something worth looking into when we get back.
More than once have I been awoken with dreams, with the sensation of falling. I don't know if I would call this a bad sign.
I know you're not telling me everything. But for now, I'll pretend to be satisfied so Vythe doesn't come over here armed. But when we get back to Emberfall, I'd like you to pay a visit to my sanctuary. Because that wasn't just a bad dream. Either you're being haunted by a shadow fiend, or you're generating your own corruption. One of which is catastrophic. So, if you want to live long enough to save your old man, you better come with me. Now eat some breakfast. Gonna be a long walk. As I go back to Vythe.
How about I just take you back to the Order and we'll speak about it there?
So when you say that, I kind of cock my head at you. You want to tell the Order of Mount Valiant, who've only ever seen Shadow as an enemy, bar none, that you had corruption on you.
Have faith in me.
It's not you I'm worried about. As I turn and walk back. We'll do both, but we're already on our way to Emberfall.
Well, Jonah's still in Emberfall.
Yeah.
Well, that's, yes, Jonah's whom I'm looking for.
Okay, that's fair. So, well, you don't really have any information. I would give Kilroy a roll because he's an expert on the shadow, but he really doesn't have any information.
I mean, I feel like I could probably make a check for it here. I just don't know what I would actually roll.
Yeah, well, yeah, because none of you guys, hasn't really given any of you guys any information.
Yeah.
So,
Because I'm pretty positive I know what happened.
Yeah, and it's not something that Gerard really wants to share. I get that.
So, basically, I'll be taking him to the experts, but I'll walk over to Vythe because I know he's still weapon jumpy at the moment.
No. I'll share with you what happened. Just this is something that's we'll have to share at Emberfall with John. This is not the same kind of shadow I think that you guys keep under control. You said it was a wisp, like something left over.
Something like that.
I'll explain when I get back.
Good enough for me. But I'll walk over to Vythe and tell him it's under control. He'll be paying a visit to the sanctuary when we return.
That'll do for now, but I'm keeping my eye on him.
For the 48 hours you have left? Sure.
Stop being such a Nancy.
I've come to terms with it. But I am still talking to the Grandmaster. There's got to be a more refined way to do this.
Yeah, it's really easy. A blade to the gullet.
It's the exact opposite of what would be right. Because if all of that, as I gesture to his entire being, didn't have you in control, I'm not dealing with it. So, that's not the perfect solution.
But it's easier to channel the unanimated shadow back to Rancor than it is to try to fight me as a shadow fiend, and I'll not be a shadow fiend as he mounts his pack. And are we leaving?
Yep. Did you eat something?
Yes, I ate. You whine like an old mother hen.
Somebody has to. Order can't do much good without any members. As
That's fair enough.
get ready to go on the march.
All right, as you guys gather your things, getting your stuff together, as you guys begin to trudge northward towards Calmer's Ferry. And that is where we will stop for today. Without Alistair, I'm going to go ahead and stop us here since he had to leave early today. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We got 2 new subs today, one from I'm More Epic Than You and the other from Nilla Gorilla. So we appreciate you both. Glad to have those of you that tuned in. We'll be coming back next Monday at 7:30. I didn't see the third one.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
okay.
it's 2. You can't count, but they were gifted subs, which is really cool to see. So thank you,
Yeah.
too, for gifting subs to Halo and Big Brain Girl.
Definitely.
that was
We
really
appreciate you guys. We'll be back next Monday at 7:30 Central Time with our continuation of episode 27. I see this episode is incorrectly titled episode 26. Episode 25 should be episode 26, and the next week will be episode 27 of the Fall of Illidion. Also, look out. Sometime this week, we'll be announcing it on our Twitter. So don't forget to follow. And if you're in our Discord, we'll be putting it in there. We'll be starting our first session of Ruins of the Old World, a campaign ran by Gunfire 2430. It'll be Wednesdays at 8:30 Central Time. Really excited to get that going. So,
Absolutely. Plus, I mean, if we can talk about titles for a second, mine is infinitely better than The Fall of Illidion. I just want to put that... No, I'm kidding.
it is.
Kidding.
He's right.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and transition over to the Q&A section here. Probably run that for 10, 15 minutes, depending on if we're getting questions in here. I'm going to go ahead and say goodnight to
Yep.
Gerard for stepping in.
Kilroy will be joining us
Oh, okay.
for questions if anybody has any questions for Kilroy. And then we will have Gerard next week.
All right. See you, Gerard. Thanks for stopping in. It was great playing.
Good session.
All right. Let's go ahead and start with this Q&A if you want to take over here, Zoltar.
Yeah, not a problem. So, nice to have all you with us. Thanks for watching it again, Big Brain Girl. We appreciate it. It's nice to get some more returning people each week. Definitely a fun session. I'm excited for where it's going. Interesting things going on in terms of heading back to Emberfall, which of course I know this happened before we started the stream, but a little bit of history. Right before they left Emberfall to come to Illidion, Emberfall was attacked. The same thing that had happened before they left Emberfall to come to Darendor. Emberfall was attacked the same way Illidion was, where through an act of evil arcane magic, gates to Rancor rippled throughout the city as hordes of demons and devils poured in. The heroes arrived in the midst of that conflict. They managed to push back against the enemies and seal the rift that was allowing these hordes, these demonic hordes, to come through. They were recognized by Duke Alexander of Emberfall for their heroism, and they received a lot of acclamations and rewards. Alistair was knighted. That's why Kilroy became Professor Emeritus of Emberfall Academy. lots of good things happen. And so they'll be heading back there, having spent not even a day after the destruction of at least a third of the city. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Have we been able to get Kilroy in?
I'm making those edits right now. Should take me just a minute. He is on the
Okay.
chat. I'm just correcting the cam here.
That's fine. So interesting to see what happens there. And then, of course, we have Gerard's dream today. This is quite interesting as well.
Most definitely. Yep, it's definitely a lot of interesting character developments going on right now. I'm pretty excited to see where they go. Since this is Zoltar's campaign that he's running on his own, I'm completely in the dark here, so that was a really cool development out of left field.
Well, even if we don't have his picture up, Kilroy's still in the chat. If anybody has any questions for him about Kilroy or his character, also learned a bit about his backstory today in terms of his wife being slaughtered.
Yeah, pretty interesting way to learn about pretty interesting thing to learn about a character right off the bat.
I don't know if I talk here or not.
Yes, you absolutely can.
Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, my wife was murdered and my son ran off when he grew up to avenge his mother, and neither, as far as I know, I have no clue where my son is, and neither of us know which shadow demon ended up infecting my wife, killing her.
So you've got that. Are you attempting to figure that out, or are you just kind of
Oh, over time, the places I've visited, I've asked if people have heard if anything about an attack on Glitterhome 20 years ago, and most people I've asked were humans, and they weren't either alive or they're too young to know of it. So,
I see. Okay. So you haven't had a lot of success in that area then.
nope.
But yeah, it looks like Epic was asking about that murder there, but guess what? That's what you get for being adventurous at a young age, huh?
Yeah,
Ends up not having a home to come back to. Sounds pretty on the point.
yeah.
All right.
Do we have any other questions for us or Kilroy while we've got him?
If not, or anything about the upcoming game, really any questions you guys have, that's what we're here for. If not, that's okay too. Completely understand. If you think of a question at any point, you can always throw it in the next stream or reach out to us in the Discord. We'd be happy to answer.
Be prepared. I'm ready.
Yeah. Sargent is also going to be in our next game, so pretty pumped about that.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm a little rusty, so bear with me, but no, I'm kidding. It's going to be great.
Well, it doesn't look like we have any more questions. We'll give it a little bit longer, but if we don't get any more, we'll go ahead and, like we did last week, we're going to raid another D&D channel. If you guys want to stick around for that raid, nice to be able to support other streamers, and then hopefully they support us. We have any other questions?
All right. Doesn't look like it. I guess we'll be able to cut and run a little bit early here. I'm glad I went through all those edits to put his camera up here and everything. Appreciating it. No, I'm kidding.
No, you guys are good. I'm going to go ahead and start the raid then. If you guys want to stick around and join that, you guys will get some channel points. We appreciate all of you guys. And then I hope you have a good one. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Adios.